Let's freaking go. We never do afternoon live streams unless it is for something big. Jamar Kane has decided to leave LSU for the Denver Broncos. Okay. Now, I know there's a whole lot going on in the world of LSU sports, right? LSU baseball is playing right now. LSU women's basketball, of course, Brian Kelly was in attendance, and Kim Mulkey is indeed going to the Final Four, beating Miami. But this seemed to be an innocuous, just small day of LSU spring practice. And boom, you get this big news story that one of LSU's best assistant coaches has decided to go to the Mile High City. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about why I think he decided to make this move. In just a second, we're going to have Blake Ruffino of AYS Sports, a guy that actually has a close relationship with Jamar Kane. I've never spoken to him. I haven't. I know he's been very accessible to the media. I don't know him personally. All I know is he is a really good defensive line coach. And I go back to the very beginning when Jamar Kane actually came to LSU, and I actually had somebody from Oklahoma reach out to me, and he had been around the Oklahoma Sooners football program for a long time. And he said, Carter, this is going to be Brian Kelly's most important hire for LSU. And he showed it, right? Not only just on the field, losing Mason Smith the first week of the season, and the defensive line still turning out to be very good. In recruiting, right? Jackson Howard comes in. Obviously, Deshaun Womack comes in. There are a lot of moving pieces that actually come to LSU because of Jamar Kane. So let's be honest, this was amazing what he was able to accomplish, especially coming in, replacing Andre Carter, who is a very popular defensive line coach in his one season at LSU. So this is a very difficult thing to swallow if you're an LSU fan, especially at this point in the season, especially knowing that Jamar Kane had been so good for LSU, especially knowing that LSU was in a spot where they really started to gel as a coaching staff. The only on-field coach that was replaced was the special teams coordinator, and I think a lot of you agree that that move should have been made. So this does suck. Continuity on coaching staffs do matter, and you do have the poll question attached to this live stream today. Do you feel any more or less confident about LSU actually making a run to the college football playoff next season? Okay, so I appreciate everybody tuning in on a very weird time. Once again, Blake Ruffino will be joining us here in just a second. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Now, I want to go to the Prez right here. The first comment we'll discuss. We also say hi to Jeremy, Jared, TOV, Reed. Good to see you again. Brian, Ray, the Master Blaster, Kedrick, Greg, everybody. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Okay. I hope Sierra goes back to future. Chance says, Chance, I can't put that comment up on the screen. So I'll discuss what TJ and Cliff are discussing, and then we'll get to Blake in just a second here. And Blake's the one that reached out to me. I know to never bother him during LSU baseball. I know to never bother any of you during LSU baseball. So I'm not doing this just to compete versus your viewership of one of your favorite things. I know a lot of you love the sport, but it's pretty big news. Also, later this evening, we will drop an LSU offense film breakdown from the practice today. I know a lot of you like the spring practice breakdowns that we do. Okay. Now, we, as a collective group of football fans, okay, this is tough, this comment right here. Screw Sean Payton. Now, How do you consume this if you're an LSU and a Saints fan? Cliff, I know you're a Cowboys fan, so you hate Sean Payton. Um, Look, I'm an LSU fan over a Saints fan, and I have been very public about how much I like Sean Payton, to the point where I like the Broncos. Right, I'm always going to be a Sean Payton fan. He is truly one of the coaches in professional football that moves the needle wherever he goes. But this relationship with LSU football is very rocky if you're an LSU fan and you're a Saints fan. Okay, this is just crazy. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much about Peyton here today because what's done is done. All right. But the first thing I will say is he didn't let one of his assistants come to LSU. And now, out of all the defensive pass rush specialists he could have gone after, he gets the one from LSU to come to Denver. And look, Jamar Kane's very talented. Jamar Kane might have let his agent know, hey, throw feelers out there for some NFL positions. Maybe that's the case. Okay. Blake will shine some light on why exactly all of this happened. But what I will say is no matter what the actual reasoning was behind Sean Payton hiring Jamar Kane, I think a lot of LSU fans have soured on Payton just in general. Okay. So yeah, I think it's tough. It is tough to consume. Okay. Um, but look, it's hard, to develop. What is your relationship like with LSU, with the Saints, and the Saints and LSU? I totally get it, but you know, it's it's tough. It's really, really tough. It's really, really tough if you're a Saints fan and an LSU fan, because this isn't the first instance of this happening. Now, from an LSU perspective, should Jamar Kane have left during spring? Okay. I saw one of you saying, hey, this is a less than honorable move to leave during the spring. Okay. I'm going to ask you this question. Whoever you are, whether it be Chance or any one of you, would you leave for a better job right now? Just whatever your job is, probably so. And yes, it sucks because all these early enrollees just signed, and they signed because of your coaching. It does suck for those players that signed with LSU because in large part of Jamar Kane, but this is a business part of it, right? Take Jackson Howard, for instance. His dad played in the NFL. He knows it's a business. He knows how hard it is to get your foot in the door at the NFL level. So, I got to be honest here. I got to be honest. I can't be too mad at Jamar Kane doing what a lot of us would have done, right? He was getting paid quite a bit. He was making a six-figure salary as a defensive line coach and a high six-figure salary, a salary that matches a lot of other Division I coaches, head coaches. So yeah, he was getting paid a pretty penny to be at LSU. So it's going to be interesting what the details are in the actual Denver Broncos contract. But if you ask quite a bit of college coaches, do you want to do the college football thing where you're recruiting 24/7, or would you take an NFL job? A lot of coaches are taking the NFL job, right? Here's a good example of this, and we're going to talk about this young man's name in just a second. LSU lost Jamar Kane's top assistant, and they were tight. And this guy's name is Pat Hill. Okay, so Pat Hill is the assistant defensive line coach for Jamar Kane. He leaves, okay, and goes to Colorado to take a better position as a defensive line coach. And then in a few weeks, after getting a very good salary from Deion Sanders to go to Colorado and join primetime, still in a Power 5 conference. He left to take a Minnesota Vikings assistant job. Okay. So that goes to show you how coveted NFL jobs are. All right. Now, as far as replacements are concerned, I think Brian Kelly does think about hiring Pat Hill, right? I do think Pat is a guy that the LSU players are familiar with because he was just with this unit last year. So every defensive lineman that is currently on that roster, they know this man. Okay. He helped Jamar Kane recruit these guys. Also, at the NFL level, he is an assistant defensive line coach. Okay. Assistant, keyword. He is not the main defensive line coach. And we also know Brian Kelly likes familiarity, right? He likes hiring people that he knows. We have seen this, with Jancic and with some other coaches. So I think that is a direction that LSU thinks about going into. But of course, Pat Hill, I don't believe has a whole lot of experience as the main guy. So that could be a guy that they go after. One defensive line coach that I've always liked, and he was a defensive line coach briefly with Arkansas quite a long time ago, but I love watching Pitt's defensive line, and Charlie Partridge is a defensive line coach I have always admired. Okay. He is currently obviously the defensive line coach at Pitt. So yeah, I would I would obviously go in that direction if I was Brian Kelly. All right. Now, Coach O needs a job. What about Ed Orgeron? Okay. Let's be honest. This would be a bad idea. I still think it's all too fresh to bring in Coach O back as a defensive line coach. I don't think. I mean, there's not a whole lot of guys that he coached that are still on this roster, right? Obviously, Malik and BTJ and those guys, but Nuss and whatnot. But on the defensive line, Mason Smith obviously is someone that was from his, tenure. But I think a lot of you in many different ways know that Coach O would not be the direction that LSU will be heading. Okay. I know it's going to be a popular name. I know that name's going to get thrown around quite a bit, but let's go ahead and just put this to rest. Ed Orgeron is not going to be that guy. Okay. And honestly, there are other legal reasons as to why. Okay. So that is not going to happen. Now, I never like to bother our next guest during LSU baseball season, especially when LSU baseball lost to the Arkansas Razorbacks in game number 1. But I need some clap emojis, baby. I need some clap emojis in the chat for my friend and yours, none other than this young man, Blake Ruffino. Let's go.
How we doing? How we doing?
I know you're relaxed when you're not in studio. Is this the first time you've done something not in studio?
Yes.
Look at that. And
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Y'all type Y for yes, type N for no if you can see and hear Blake just fine. Okay. So a lot of you are crossovers. You follow the AYS monster. Once again, every Monday I am on with Blake at 7:30 Central. So make sure you get that all squared away. So Blake, Jamar Kane way better than any of us do. Give us your thoughts and if you've spoken to the news.
Yeah, I talked to Jamar, and he confirmed the news to me. I'm not going to say when.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that he has not signed his contract with the Broncos, but he will be up there Monday to sign the contract. And so we're going to break down a lot of the exclusive stuff, Carter, with him and why he's leaving. either tonight or tomorrow when he gives us the go-ahead on that. But,
Yeah.
yeah, saw him today, talked to him after practice. And so, I mean, it just sometimes, Carter, I mean, things just happen, and it stinks, but I mean, it is what it is. And so, I mean, I don't think that anybody's going to leave because Jamar Kane is leaving. I mean, I don't think that, like Deshaun Womack, who his family just all of them picked up and came to Baton Rouge. I don't think like that's happening. Nor do I think that Jamar Kane would, number one, allow that to happen. But Carter, I mean, when you get into the NFL and you don't have to recruit, and then, I mean, look, I'm just going to tell you, he's going to get paid a little bit more too now.
Yeah,
So,
of course. Yeah.
but Sean Payton doing Sean Payton things. So, what you gonna do?
What did Jamar say to you? Was he distraught? Was he sad? I'm sure he was.
No, He's not distraught or mad. I mean, Carter, it's the nature of the business. I mean, he's been. I mean, just to give you an example, he was at USC for a day and then took the LSU job.
Right.
So, I mean, he's been a part of this. He's been hired and fired and things like that. So, no, I mean, I don't think he's sad, necessarily. I don't think he's upset, but I do think that um, I do think that he has a lot of questions um, about what would have been going forward at LSU. LSU just hired John Jancic a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, and so with that being said, oh, that's a good pitch. But with that being said, it is what it is, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, now, do I think that Jancic being a part of the staff is maybe a reason? Yeah, I could see that being a reason, but at the same time, I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do, So, Carl, we talked about this, okay? LSU's got to go get it. I mean, and Jamar was doing this, but LSU just needs a big time recruiter at that position.
Yeah. That's interesting. If because obviously Jancic was coaching the Jack linebackers. That's just so interesting that might have played a role in this.
Well, how could it not have?
Because they coach different positions, right?
Do they? Because I mean, Jamar Kane had the entire thing last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then you go get Deshaun Womack, and then the guy goes and gets these elite recruits like Jordan Howard and Deshaun Womack, and he can't even coach them.
Right, because they play the standing position. That makes sense. I
And
didn't think
by
of
the
it
way,
that
I talked to Deshaun Womack today.
Okay.
That kid ain't no 270. I don't know where people are getting this from. That kid ain't 270. Okay. So for people that know, I mean, we had his
announcement.
His commitment announcement, and I don't that kid ain't 270. If that kid's 270, Carter, I got Chris Evans level abs.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Where do you think LSU goes from here? Is there anyone that just sticks out to you? Because you're a former lineman, you know the position. You're a former offensive line, but you know the position.
Not anybody that sticks out necessarily, because it's very late in the process. Very, very late in the process. But I do think hint, hint, wink, wink, that Brian Kelly's known about this for a little while now. And so, with that being said, I think that he has I do think that he has an idea of where he wants to go with it. And he doesn't necessarily I mean, he's got to move on this pretty quick from a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
because Dominic McKinney's a 5-star defensive lineman out of Acadiana. You got to make this move pretty quick. There's always the people that are always asking about Bo Davis. I don't think that they go there, but we'll see. I think it's way too early to know, way too early in the day to know. And Carter, here's the thing, and you know this better than most. Ain't nobody going to answer your questions during the weekend.
Yeah.
It just so I mean, and Jamar Kane's been on our show before, and so I really love Jamar, and I think that I appreciate and I thanked him for everything he did for LSU, and I'm glad to see him going to the NFL. Carter, I mean, once you get in the NFL cycle, man, it's hard to get out of it,
I know. Yeah.
And here's another thing, man, you ain't got to recruit,
Yeah.
and so I mean, like look what happened at Florida. I mean, the same type of situation happened at Florida, to Denver, right? Like those guys went to Denver. And Sean has been very open and honest about when he rebuilds a program or a dynasty that he goes and gets a lot of coaches out of college. Look at Ryan Nielsen as an example. I think that they have some guys in mind. I probably will let some things out a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
Once I can start getting some things confirmed, but ain't nobody confirming nothing right now.
Yeah. You're a Saints fan as well. Do you hate Sean Payton now?
I've always hated Sean Payton.
Hate? Always?
Yeah, I don't like him. He blocked me and pulled my credentials.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What? I didn't know this.
He's a Rudy Poo. He's the ultimate Rudy Poo. He's an arrogant. I'm not going to curse on here, but he's an arrogant piece of dog manure. Sean is the most arrogant head coach you can meet.
Why did he block your credit? I'm about to give Sean Payton these hands.
Yeah, well, anybody could beat him up. Most CrossFit, and, baby milk powder coming out of his titty nipples. But I mean,
Sean, I'm a Sean guy. I like Sean.
He's overrated.
Overrated. So let me ask you.
I said what I said.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay.
All right.
Do you think Sean has a vendetta against LSU?
Yes.
And do you think that partially played
Let me ask you this. Do I think it played a role? No, not necessarily. I think that a lot of things transpired for this to happen. How do I want to say this? Why are more LSU guys coming to play for New Orleans? And why was I'll break this news. Why was Foster Moreau told us that he was going to be signing with the Saints? That's what the physical was for.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, why are the Saints now getting LSU players? Why? So you do know that Ryan Nielsen, the only reason Ryan Nielsen was in New Orleans was because of Ed Orgeron.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So and then they bickered and whined and moaned about the Joe Brady thing. Joe Brady. So I know this for a fact because Mike Detillier told me this. Joe Brady literally was like Sean Payton's errand boy. What a play. Carter, what a play.
Let's go.
Jordan Thompson, straight out of Compton. What a play. Da-da-da, da-da. I mean, I'm just going to let you know, if we don't have a quarterback on campus, if Jordan Thompson wants to go play, I mean, that kid's got a hose.
That kid's got he's got a hose. I thought you said something else at first. He might have both.
I mean, he's got him in different area codes too. But I mean, Carter, can you convince me that Sean Payton doesn't have somewhat of a vendetta?
I think yes and no. I've heard different things about why LSU during Payton didn't draft LSU players because of the locality aspect of it and all of that. But I don't know why he would just hate LSU just for no apparent reason. I just
there is a guy in Ruston who played in the NFL who's a defensive coordinator.
Kyle Williams. Now imagine if that happened. If Brian Kelly did that, that would be crazy. That would be crazy.
I don't think he's going to do that.
No, no.
I don't think he can afford to do that at the current moment. I think he needs somebody that can go in there and recruit. Now, oh God, I just don't know if he can do that. Oh, what a catch!
What is it? LSU baseball? What's the score now?
Yeah, it's 5-2, baby. I mean, I'm a baseball guru. What did Jordan say? Not only the lack of drafting LSU players, he told Joe Brady not to come here. Now he's poaching from us. I feel you, Blake. Or Balake. Well, I mean,
Be late.
he was his errand boy. I mean, Joe Brady was his errand boy. So, I mean,
yeah, he was a coffee fetcher.
Yeah, no, literally.
That's what he was. People don't know that about Brady. It wasn't. I mean, it was in his 20s to be fair, but 20s, early 30s, whatever. But yeah, that's. Ugh.
1, 2, 3 by Ty Floyd, baby.
Ugh.
What, the beer?
No, I'm not saying about the beer. I don't. Oh, Miller. There's no fruit in that beer. There's no fruit in that beer.
It's the world's finest Pilsner.
There's no fruit in the beer, though, man.
It's much about that I talk about Miller Lite on YouTube streams. I mean, Carter, I need you to go ahead and clip this and put it on Twitter. Okay. Miller Lite needs to sponsor AYS. This is some horse manure. You know what? It's almost the level of Sean Payton poaching people.
Why not Miller Lite? I actually like Miller too. I was just joking. I'm a big Miller guy. I don't know. I don't know if I like Ultra better than Miller.
Did you know that Brian Kelly was a Miller Lite? I mean, was a Michelob guy.
Dude, when I saw BK rocking the tall boy yesterday, I've never been more proud of an LSU tackle football coach. And I don't believe
at least he keeps his shirt on, and it's not like Ed Orgeron takes his shirt off at the beach.
Those I didn't see. So I want to know. This is where I need your AYS sources to come through here. If not, I'm going to make a call to LSU football right now. I need to know if he was actually drinking this thing because it looks like somebody.
Oh, he's drinking it. No, he's drinking it because that's Matt McMahon right there next to him.
Right. So I was thinking maybe he was holding that because something fell down, but no, that's BK drinking a tall one, baby. That's my
and he was out at practice today.
That's right. Him and Woodward were out there.
Yeah, Woodward was at practice today.
Look at that, man. Flying jets.
How crazy is it that I've been in here for 15 minutes and we haven't once talked about how practice went?
Okay, well, then how did practice go?
I mean, we don't have to. I mean, Jamar Kane. I mean, but look, I mean, he's holding that beer. That's his beer.
Look at that. Look at you, BK. Look at you. That's my coach. That's my coach, baby. Let's go. Let's go, baby. And he got that in the first half because they don't sell them in the third quarter or in the fourth.
Really?
Quarter. Yeah, they don't. All sporting events don't sell beers in the fourth.
I don't know. I don't drink at sporting events.
So, but
oh no! Get out of here, ball! Cruise missile! Let's go, Carter!
I love how hot the audio is. I love it. Wait, did Dylan
cruising left center? Damn it!
He had a home run yesterday too.
He just pissed on that ball. Sorry.
No, I don't care. I like the hot audio. I like the I love it.
I gotta. Sorry. Cruise missile in this thing. All right. So I got about 2 more minutes before I gotta go get the kids. But
what did you see at practice? Go on ahead.
Look, let me just say this. I think Garrett Dellinger's in trouble.
Okay.
Miles Frazier's not been out there for a week.
Right.
By the way.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. Um, but nothing really. I mean, I think so. When we got in there today, they were working on field goal, and Brad Davis is over all the protection. Um, so they were working on field goal and field goal block,
Okay.
and something that was interesting, Carter. They've moved Matt House into more of a CEO defensive role.
Okay.
Like he's not in drills anymore. He's walking around the whole time. And he's just kind of more of the head coach of your defense. He's not in drills, so I thought that was interesting. I will tell you something, man. That something's up at receiver. I can't put my thumb on it yet. Something's up though. But the starting lineup today, Kiko, what's his name?
Chemo McAnally.
There you go. He was at right guard. He was starting at right guard today.
Right.
I thought that was interesting. Um, I thought
They
that's
don't have anybody
interesting.
else though. They only have 6
Yeah,
guys.
they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they
Who?
do. They got. I counted 9 guys out there today. They
Right.
got dudes. I don't. I mean, Garrett Dellinger. I mean, then where's Miles Frazier? I mean, like they got dudes. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If you ask me a specific question, I can answer it for you. I got to talk to Greg Brooks today,
Okay.
on and off the record.
Okay, good.
The first question I asked Greg Brooks today was, Greg, was that really a fumble recovery against Alabama? And he said, "Yep."
No.
And then Emory Jones gave me a little bit of a captain's comment. I was like, Emory, I don't know if you heard this, but you went viral last week about you dominating Will Anderson on the line of scrimmage last year. When you see something like that about yourself, what does it make you feel like? He goes, I'm not talking about them dudes. Them dudes got to come to me now. I'm like,
Okay.
she. I'm like, all right, all right.
All
I
right.
was like, y'all ran the ball at a high level last year. He goes, yep, we're going to do it again, too. Oh, and he said something interesting. Here's the biggest takeaway of the day outside Jamar Kane. Emory Jones said that him and Will Campbell have been studying and breaking down Jared Verse from Florida State already
Already.
right now.
Oh,
Already.
I like it.
Yeah, already that they're breaking down Jared Verse. And Carter, I said this week. Here's my ultimate hot take. You ready?
I'm warm, baby.
All right. I'm more worried about Florida State than Alabama.
Oh, I agree. 1,000% agree. 1,000.
So,
I think
I mean, it was.
they're
Go
a
ahead.
better
I'm sorry.
football team. They're a better football team right now.
They're a better football team. And I will tell you, I mean, there wasn't a lot to go away from practice other than just being able to sit there and talk to Jamar for a little while. But I mean, it was a good practice. I mean, they look. I will tell you, Jane Daniels is a lot bigger, brother. He's a lot bigger, and he came into LSU at 185 pounds. Carter being up next to him and talking to him, he's all of 205. He is just big. He's just a bigger dude now. And every you know what's interesting? Tommy Moffitt's the GOAT. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But man, every time somebody says something, them dudes bringing up Jake Flint.
Good. Good.
So
I thought it was cool that they did the podcast together. I thought that was nature.
yeah, you would think that they were that there would be some bad blood.
I was shocked. I was kind of shocked when I saw that. I really was.
Tommy knows. Tommy was ready to retire, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I was happy though. That it was because
How many people we got in this stream right now?
let's see. I don't know about I don't know how to read the Facebook. I don't have any Facebook followers. So 91 now 88.
You better have 88 follows. Likes on YouTube. Or I swear to God, me and Ben are gonna like body slam people.
Oh, 88. Oh, on the thumbs up.
Yeah, you better everybody better hit the thumbs up right now.
Well,
Hit the like and share to all of those social media groups, share to all of your social media pages, and wherever you listen to it on the podcast, rate, review, and subscribe.
But you want to know something, and I haven't looked this up or not, but more people watch us now on like the big screen.
Yeah, it's a big deal now. And Carter, I'll just let. I mean, I don't even think I told you this. I mean, we got some big news coming within the next 3 weeks. Um, so if you have a Samsung, Roku, smart TV,
Watch out.
yeah, watch out.
Hey,
All
why yes?
right, so because I really do got to go get the kids in just a minute, but
Yeah, go
let
ahead.
me just finish with this. I think they have a plan of what they're going to go do on the defensive line. I don't think it's a massive deal. I love Jamar Kane. I don't think he just I think he's going to leave you in a good spot, and he left you in a good spot. I think that we got to wait until next Saturday to fully know what we're saying when we get to full practice because
Right.
they're just going through drills right now, Carter. They don't have a lot of guys out there. Trey Holly looked okay. Okay. Oh, and every LSU, if you lived inside the state, by the way, and besides Lance Hurd, every signee was there today. Kylan Jackson was there. Caleb Jackson was there. A lot of dudes. I will tell you, you know who Jaylen Brown, looking up, being next to him in person, you know what who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
Devonta Smith.
Oh, as far as their body
They're the
and all.
same dude. They're the same dude. They're the same dude. I'm telling you.
Devonta Smith.
My mom taught the kid in seventh grade, eighth grade. I'm telling you, same body size,
Well, your
dog.
mom taught Devonta Smith?
Yeah, and Ismail Sobsher and who else was in that class? Devonta Lee.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know your mom was a teacher in Amy. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, what are you picking up the kids and what are y'all doing the rest of the day?
I'm gonna bring them back here and we're gonna watch baseball. Maybe watch some Final Four. I mean, some Sweet 16, Elite Eight. And then watch. Saturdays. I might do a stream later tonight. I was gonna do
You
it after
should.
baseball game.
You got to do a post baseball stream, man. It's a big win. Hopefully,
Yeah.
big. We'll see. We'll see. Dave Van Horn.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, let me tell you something. Did you see my tweet yesterday? I hate Arkansas.
Why? Why would you hate? They are.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I hate Arkansas. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
They dust their crawfish and they moan when they sleep. Oh. Everybody in Arkansas moans when they sleep.
I hate Alabama. I will make this admission on this live stream right now. There was
y'all do dust y'all's crawfish though.
But no, look, hear me out.
That's disgusting.
I don't dust crawfish. That's not what I do.
That you know what that's like? That's like cooking chicken and then putting the seasoning on after. Don't me. Y'all dust y'all's crawfish.
I don't. I do not dust crawfish, but I am also the believer if you want to dust your crawfish, do it. It's a free country. I know Jared is very passionate about it.
It's not a free country when it comes to crawfish.
You can dust them if you want.
You can't.
This is a pro.
You know who else dusted their crawfish?
Who?
Jeff Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeff Dahmer dusted his crawfish. So
no,
it's psychopaths.
Okay, but
psychopaths dust their crawfish.
I will make one admission. I was so happy. I am the biggest San Diego State Aztec fan on the planet.
They play tough, man.
Dude, I'm so happy they beat Alabama. And isn't it crazy that Brandon Miller statistically had the worst NCAA tournament, arguably ever?
Not really, because you've seen teams like guys like Kevin Durant and other big superstars that have had really bad games in the tournament, but they shut him down.
So I saw this stat yesterday. Brandon Miller, of every NCAA tournament player since 1985 that has shot 35 field goals in the NCAA tournament, he had the lowest shooting percentage of anybody ever.
That's not surprising.
All right. Well, I'll let you go. Be a good dad.
All right. Well, we're
gonna get you that Miller Lite sponsorship, man. We're gonna get.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to charge them. Just give me lifetime amount of beer.
There you go, man.
Lifetime amount of beer.
We'll do this really quickly. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Is it okay if people dust their crawfish? Type Y.
No, they're already in the comments, Carter. I can already see them.
No.
If you psychopaths, Carter, Psychopaths, literally, it's scientifically proven. Like, it's facts. Okay? If you dust your crawfish, you're a Rudy poo. Hey, you know why Ed Orgeron stunk in 2020 and 2021? No! In.
Quadruple.
Quadruple in. Okay? Sherry Berry in. I'm telling you. Hell no. Hey, get him, Skipper. Get him, Skipper. See?
Dang, no.
Carter, it is absolutely what psychopaths do. You know who else dusted their crawfish, I heard?
Who?
Hitler.
Oh my God. I saw Blake, not Blake, I saw Jared say, Dahmer didn't dust his meals. They couldn't quit sneezing. Jared is the absolute worst. Oh my God.
But,
all right, but
by the way, you know who I saw at practice?
It's so messed up. Oh man.
All right, hold on. That's gonna be a double flag.
He froze. Look at that.
No, I'm not froze. I thought they were about to have a double play. Oh,
who did you see?
Guy dog it. Her son's a recruit or is a signee.
Oh, Nikki Hughes. Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki. I saw Nikki at practice. I got to introduce myself. We got a little selfie. I hope she posted it.
No, she posted it. I reposted it.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. I'm a big Nikki Hughes fan. She retweets my stuff all the time. I love me some Nikki Hughes. She is also a UAPB Golden Lion. So
okay. Well, I need to go find that and retweet that. Send it to me. Yeah. Text it to me.
I will.
Text it to me, please. All right.
All right, buddy.
I gotta go get my kids. All right.
All right. Blake's kids are probably just sitting, waiting for their dad. Where's Daddy? Why hadn't Daddy picked me up yet? And they're like, oh, he's doing a YouTube show right now. There you go, Sherry. So I wasn't just seeing things. Now, I'm going to give you a few names here for LSU replacement. I thought Blake brought up a very interesting one. He got that gill riding on him. Let's see. I think John Sibley's in here. Longhorn men are rolling in the NCAA tournament. They are. I thought Xavier was going to keep that game close because of all the upsets. The Lady Tigers softball, are they playing right now? Let me know. Or no, you're probably talking about the women's basketball team. Dustin Crawfish is like adding salt to cereal. Oh, man. That is so funny. Loving the Saturday duo thing. I just love doing a breaking news live stream because there is a lot going on in the world of LSU sports, and you guys decide to hang out with me talking about this, reacting to this. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, feel free to super chat. I appreciate Jordan being our top super chatter up to this point. Always appreciate you. And look, we're going to get into a few other things. Once again, later tonight, we are going to drop a spring practice breakdown from the footage that was released today. Okay. Now, it's going to be Jancic. It makes too much sense. Okay. I'm going to share with you a few thoughts about Ruffino's chats, right? He did bring up something interesting involving the John Jancic thing. Brian Kelly hiring a coach to coach the jack linebacker position, and that position being a position that Jamar Kane recruited, right? He recruited Womack, who's going to play that position some. He recruited Jackson Howard, who is going to play that position exclusively. So I'm sure Jamar probably felt some type of way about that. When the kids you recruit aren't actually the players that you coach, I could get that. But I can also get Brian Kelly's logic having Jancic coach that position because it's different than all the other positions on the defense. So I get that. I really do. But yeah, I could see Jamar hating that, especially going to Denver to be a pass rush specialist. Well, the Jack is arguably your most important pass rusher on your defense, right? So yeah, that could have played a role into it. The second thing I'll bring up involving, Jamar Kane here is if I was in that spot, I probably would have done the same thing. Okay. You have to think of NFL jobs as finite resources. Okay. There's only 32 of these, right? Think of every position coach that there is. There's only 32 of them. And if you get fired in the NFL, you oftentimes are able to land on your feet somewhere else in the NFL. And if you get fired in the NFL and you don't land on your feet, there are plenty of college jobs that would be very interesting in taking in taking you. So yeah, let me see. I also want to bring up something else involving this. And this is going to be my first time saying this during this live stream, okay? Because we've touched on everything from every different angle. I don't think it's as big of a loss as we think it's going to be, right? Jamar Kane is more than likely going to be as good, if not better, than whoever Brian Kelly brings in. He really is that good of a defensive line coach. And I am a former defensive lineman, so I like studying technique and how we play and all of that. And Jamar is really good. It is one thing, like I said at the beginning of the live stream, I had Oklahoma sources reaching out to me saying, hey, this guy is the real deal. Okay. And I also get a lot of you feel some type of way because he has bounced around, right? He was at Oklahoma, took the USC job, then left USC to go to LSU, then get paid really well by LSU just to leave in a year. And I understand this is going to be a fourth year with a fourth different defensive line coach. I get that. All right. And Jamar was the best one. He was better than Carter. He was better, in my estimation, than Bill Johnson. So I get all of this. I really do. But at the same time, a defensive line coach with the talent that he left LSU, right? I don't see Jamar Kane as being someone that's going to leave a job in a bad place. The defensive line is better now than what it was before he was here. Deshaun Womack's entire family has moved to Baton Rouge because of Jamar Kane. I think Kane is going to tell Jacoby and Guillory and all those guys that were very sad that he told them that he was leaving. He's going to tell all those guys, hey, stay here, right? It's not like he is going to another college job. It's not like Nick Saban poached him to Alabama and we have to worry about transfers. It's the NFL, right? So let's be honest here. This is not the end of the road for LSU by any stretch of the imagination. And as we take a look at the poll question here, 62% of you agree with me. Does Jamar Kane leaving make you feel less excited about a CFP run next year? Okay. It doesn't change a whole lot for me, right? Position coaches come and go all the time. They do. It is the nature of the industry, right? One of the first questions I asked Blake, who spoke to Jamar Kane today, was, did Jamar Kane seem distraught? And he said no. He said, this is a business. You jump around everywhere, okay? You go from place to place, and that's just how these things work, right? So for me, it is always better to have a great defensive line coach. It is always better to have a great receivers coach, but position coaches come and go. The only coach ultimately that moves the needle is your head coach and your two coordinators, right? Now, if you replace Jamar Kane with someone who is not ready for the job, then you're in a bad spot, right? So hire someone that you know can coach this job. Okay. So be on the lookout. All right. Does LSU have transfer portal slots? Yeah, they do. They do. To go get another portal player. So there you go. What's up, Michael B? You know it's a big news if we get a Michael B signing. Let's go. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that either. Alan, the plug LSU's game on is right now. What y'all doing? Oh, we're only talking about a breaking news story. I would never do a Saturday afternoon live stream during an LSU baseball game unless it's a big story like this. Unless you guys like the Saturday afternoon streams, I'll look into it. I'm always open. Once again, this is what I do. I'm always open to doing new things. Once again, we are doing another Saturday show, April 22nd in Bossier City. We're going to be live in Bossier. Okay. And Patrick Queen's going to be there. Yes, you heard that right. Patrick freaking Queen, the national championship winning linebacker. All right. April 22nd. It is totally free. And P. Queen will be signing autographs. Michaela Williams will be signing autographs. And Jeray Jenkins will be signing autographs for free. Okay. I'm going to be there front and center April 22nd. We did this for the last Arclatech Sports Card Show in Bossier. Okay. So if you are free, we want you there because everything there to get in is free. And by the way, as all our PHL viewers know from the last show, I give out stuff at these things, right? I gave out a Nuss autograph card, gave out a Walker Howard autograph card. My guy Wade Strother gave out with PHL a Derek Stingley sign helmet and a Walker Howard sign helmet. So I'm going to give out a bunch of my stuff there because I get to meet you guys for the first time. Okay. So there you go. Same here, Skipper. Same here. Saturday live stream is a nice break from drinking beer and doing nothing. LSU is up, I think, 7-2, right? Or is it just 6-2? I am at the Dell match and clubhouse taking a break, followed my LSU Tigers. What's up, man? John Sibley. Halo down the street. What's up, Kenneth? Good to see you. From San Diego State, 04 go Aztecs. I don't think it's going to be Jancic, TJ. I think, yeah, I don't see that. I don't. I think. I don't know. Since we did this live stream so soon after the announcement, I haven't really had a chance to go through and list who I would look into. Okay. But yes. Now, once again, tonight we'll do a spring practice breakdown. I will share one thing that I saw from spring is the offensive line is so thin right now. They have 6 scholarship guys. It's tough. It's tough right there. Now, I'll address a few names here. Blake brought up the 5-star defensive lineman in Lafayette, McKinley. He's been a late riser, kind of like Lance Hurd. He was a late like McKinley just shot up all the rankings recently. So it's not like Colin Simmons, who has been a 5-star for quite some time. So we'll see how LSU goes about, recruiting McKinley now that Jamar Kane is gone. Also, keep in mind, Colin Simmons is the 5-star crown jewel that LSU is after. And if he is to pick LSU, he is more than likely going to be the highest ranked signee that LSU has this cycle. It undoubtedly hurts LSU's chances of landing him with Jamar Kane out of the picture. It's just the nature of the beast here for an out-of-state defensive lineman. But LSU is still within striking distance here. I think that since the transfer portal, unless it's a great QB, players transferring is no big deal. I agree. I really do. Okay, I really do agree with this. It has got to be somebody special for it to really hurt, right? I think for me, if I had a list of players on this year's team that would be devastating if for some reason they were to transfer, that especially if you're in this super chat here, if you take quarterback out of the equation, there's probably 5 players on this team. If they were to transfer, we would be hurting really, really, really bad. That number's anywhere from 5 to 7 to 10 on the high end, right? And obviously Harold Perkins is one of those guys, Malik Neighbors, Will Campbell. I think a lot of you know who those guys are. But for the most part, you're right. For the most part. So, yeah, if a player leaves, you can go get somebody out of the portal that can replace that player's production. Like, this is something that I was thinking of recently, all right? Elias Ricks and Dwight McGlothern left LSU. And not only did they leave, they ended up being starters, and they ended up being good pieces for the new teams that they went to, right? Now, Eli Ricks had a bad game versus us. That felt really good. But outside of that, when he got his act together and Saban played him, he was fine. And then Dwight McGlothern went to Arkansas and had a really good year, right? And if you would have thought that, hey, you lost a corner that got drafted number 3 overall, and you lost 2 starting corners, 2 SEC West schools, you would think, oh my goodness, LSU is in a bad spot. But we went and got pieces, right? We were able to go get Jarek Bernard Converse, where if we don't get him, there's a few games this year we probably, as Jordan points out, like Jarek Bernard Converse, if we did not get him, we probably lose the Alabama game. So yeah, I think I think now it's easier to replace elite talent because of the portal and because LSU being a destination that a lot of people want to leave and go play for, right? We lose Gardner, we lose Converse, in comes Deuce Chestnut, in comes Denver Harris, in comes Ty Alexander, in comes J.K. Johnson, right? Well, what if those guys aren't as good as Gardner and Converse? They might not be. Gardner and Converse are really good players for us, but at least there was a way for LSU to go out and get the players that they needed to fill that lost production at a critical position, corner. So, yeah, I think, losing players just isn't as big of a deal as it once was. It just isn't, right? What's up, Cole? Cole was at our first PHL get together. Not only was he at our first PHL get together in New Orleans, he was the first person to show up, he and his girlfriend. So good to see you, Cole. He is a big follower of everything we do on Twitter. So don't forget to follow us at Power Hour LSU. Good to see you. Everybody say hi to Cole. I don't think Cole's been in here in a minute. I think we'll use one of our defensive analysts. That's why we have them in the back of our pocket to promote from within, in a sense. Yeah, I could see LSU going in that route. But I would keep an eye on Pat Hill. Keep an eye on that name, right? It would make a lot of sense. How quickly do you think Kelly needs to hire a place in a week, a month, etc.? You know what? It's a good question. I do have slight disagreement here with Blake, but I think he would agree overall with this point. I don't think LSU needs to be in an absolute rush to go get somebody at this point. I think the bigger thing for Brian Kelly is for him to meet with the defensive line room and number one, discuss what happened and just be completely honest here that Jamar got a better position in the NFL as a pass rush specialist. And we can get into a debate about if would you rather be a pass rush specialist in the NFL or would you rather be a defensive line coach for a top 5 job in college football? I think a lot of people now are going to take the NFL. I do. Because recruiting sucks. Recruiting absolutely sucks. So yeah, I think for me, it's important for Brian Kelly to meet with his roster and say, hey, we're going to survive this and we're going to work as hard as we can to go get someone to replace what we lost. Okay. But I'll also say this, right? The defensive line coach is always one of the most popular coaches on a staff. I don't know why that is. This is once again very anecdotal. There's no science behind this. But when I tell you when LSU decided to not retain Andre Carter, my inbox was stacked with people saying Brian Kelly is making a mistake only keeping Brad Davis, and we should keep Andre Carter, who was a guy who played in the NFL, a guy who did relate with the players, a guy who all the LSU staffers liked. Um, we replaced him with someone better. Okay. Who's to say, even though Jamar Kane was spectacular for LSU last year, who's to say LSU can't do the same thing now? Right. So, I think LSU is looking to get this done sooner rather than later. But I do think at the same time, they can be somewhat patient. I don't think they need to get someone by Monday or by the end of next week. Okay. It's a good question. Yeah. I honestly think the opposite here. I think the best time to join any coaching staff is a coach's first year because the likelihood of that coach getting a second year is always high, right? Uh, but is Denver effed long term? I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question. Yeah, I try not to bring up the Corey Raymond thing because I took a lot of heat for that. Um, I got called anti-Corey, everything. But again, it just didn't. The I won't get into what exactly happened during that time, but I did a video saying, "Hey, I think LSU is going to be fine." And our secondary hadn't necessarily been playing the best as of late. And maybe it could be a good thing if Corey got a fresh start and we got a fresh start. And people took that as me saying Corey was bad. I wasn't saying he was bad at all. I'm just saying sometimes things get stale, messages get stale. I know a lot of you are watching the LSU baseball game. That was a good throw by that right fielder. It was still safe. I like it. It was a new day yesterday. I think the interior line underperformed. I think the interior line underperformed. First off, welcome. I don't think this is your first time. It was a new day yesterday. Did the LSU interior line underperform? I would say no. I think they were good. I do. I think, Blake and I got into a heated debate about Jaquan Roy last year. He had some rough games. Alabama was one of them. But I also think we just didn't have anybody behind the first two guys and Guillory. Now we're going to be way deeper there. So whoever comes in at least doesn't have to worry about taking the job and going to the portal and getting more talent. LSU's interior defensive line's got plenty of players. Plenty. But yeah, I do think they were thin in the middle, right? And they had to play Wingo and Roy more than they wanted to. And then when you lose Mason Smith on a non-contact, non-during the play injury, it's tough, right? But Jacobian, if he doesn't jump off sides, is a really solid player. His dad is a PHL supporter. But I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I like Jamar a lot. I really do. There's a lot of things that I felt he did a good job of. Like LSU getting 2 back-to-back sack flies. You do understand Russell's been to 2 Super Bowls and has the same amount of rings as Breeze at a younger age. Oh, come on, H-Down Creole. Come on. Do you really think Russell Wilson last year was the Russell Wilson of old? Now, I'll tell you this, Drew Brees' final year wasn't fantastic, but he was older, right? So the opposite's actually true here, right? Like Russell showed himself being washed at a way younger age than Drew Brees showed himself being washed. But I do think Sean Payton's going to help Russell Wilson, though. I think it's true. I do also worry about the politics of that situation, right? Where last year Russell had his own office, last year Russell had his own coaches, and Sean Payton just doesn't play that. You don't think Breeze is one of the greatest quarterbacks? I can't argue with a bad take like this. Breeze, what is it? He's got 5,000 yard passing seasons. And previous to the NFL going to 17 games, there were as many 5,000 yard passing seasons as Drew Brees had combined. So statistically, this just doesn't add up, right? He was the all-time leader in all the categories before Brady broke all of them. So modern era Drew Brees is definitely top 5, right? I think if you say modern era and you are saying post 2000, Breeze is number 4, right? I think it's Brady, Manning, whichever order you want there. Aaron Rodgers is probably number 3, and then Drew Brees is probably number 4, and Patrick Mahomes is probably number 5. Now, if you want to put Mahomes ahead of Brees there at number 5, that's fine. So yeah, I think once again these debates do come up from time to time. Okay, but is it his fault that they went 7-9 3 straight years? Is it? I mean, were the defenses the absolute best during those years? I'll let you be the decider of that. But could I argue that during those 3 years, okay, Drew Brees had to play prime Matt Ryan, okay, prime Cam Newton, and for that decade, the Panthers and the Falcons were loaded. Loaded. I'm not talking about just quarterbacks. I'm talking about rosters, right? Now they aren't, but roster-wise, those two teams had dudes, right? Like, it is ridiculous, like how many great players the Panthers had at that time. Those were the Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly years, right? Luke Kuechly was the best defense player in the NFL for a time period, right? The Falcons had Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, that offensive line that was consistently good for them. So yeah, I mean, yeah, what was it bad that they went 3 consecutive years where they went 7-9? Yeah, I don't think anyone would say that is good, but still, for the most part, the Saints were a really good team. Diaco has a really good shot. Has a really, really good shot. I think the interesting part about that, though, Chance, is, and why I don't think that would happen, is it does change the message if Bob Diaco were to go working with the linebackers where he's been working almost exclusively with the off-ball linebackers. And then Jamar Kane leaves and Bob Diaco is now coaching a different position. Now, it's not unprecedented that those things happen. Coaches are able to coach different position groups. But I don't think Bob is going to be the guy. I don't. But then again, Chance, it goes back to the initial part of it why I think Pat Hill could be a factor here. Is Brian Kelly likes hiring in-house. He does. Prime Matt Ryan, not that prime. I agree yet disagree at the same time. I mean, he won the MVP one time. Yeah, I think it was pretty good, Matt Ryan, for that time period. Let me see how many Pro Bowls Matt Ryan made. Let's see. He went to 4 Pro Bowls during the Drew Brees era. Okay. 4. Which is a lot. Okay. Especially in the NFC when Aaron Rodgers was around and all those guys. Pat Hill is with the Vikings as the assistant defensive line coach, and he was Jamar Kane's right-hand man. I I don't think that that's going to happen, but it would make some sense, right? Once again, I'm just throwing names out there like everybody is at this point. What's up, Max? Kane was a huge part of why a lot of these edge players came to LSU. True that. They have to hire someone good, not just a plug-in coach. Got some young dogs there. Mm. Yeah, I mean, this is a really good super chat. I want to talk about the young players there. I just hate it for Deshaun Womack. I really do. Right? Like, so Deshaun Womack's family moved to Baton Rouge, right? And this isn't, you know, young man from Alabama moving to Baton Rouge, right? Which is drivable. It's young man from Maryland. Maryland. And Cain was a big reason why he picked LSU. So I am sympathizing, as a player. You have to know going into it, it's a business, and these coaches are going to leave. But you do feel some type of way, right? Especially, if this had happened like right after the signing period, and if this had happened right when Sean Payton was hired, it would be different. It would be very different. But this is, it's been a month since Sean Payton's been hired, if not longer. So yeah, I go back. I think this was Will Blackwell who told me this a long time ago. Why I think LSU has so much success with Louisiana players in general, right? Because when an LSU player from Louisiana signs with LSU, they're signing with LSU. They are not necessarily signing for a position coach, right? But when an out-of-stater signs with LSU, they didn't grow up with the same adoration for the program, right? So, when you sign, you're signing with the program. Where, when a Louisiana guy signs with LSU, it's a little bit more of a metaphysical kind of connection, right? It's just like it's what you grew up knowing, which is LSU football. So it is a business, and and I think Will Blackwell told me, hey, it's important now that college players sign with the school. Don't sign with the coach, right? Sign with the school, especially if you're a defensive lineman, right? Sign with the school. Run to the store real quick. Y'all need anything? Huh? I've lived there. So yeah, I enjoyed it. But I lived outside Silver Spring. Dusted their boiled crabs. But yeah. Now here's what we're gonna do. I want to go finish this film study so we can have something to do tonight. So we will be posting a video later tonight. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to answer as many questions as I possibly can. But if you do super chat, we'll keep it going. Got LSU baseball in the background. You know, we'll be live tomorrow night as well. Let me bring this one thing up. Okay, let me bring this one thing up. The LSU versus Utah game. Okay. I am excited as heck that LSU won that game yesterday. Okay. I'm worried about some of the aspects of this team at this point, especially since Miami is one of the hottest teams in the country right now. I mean, they are just killing it right now. And their guard play is really good. Number 3 for them is a baller. So I know we're all focusing on this next women's game for LSU tomorrow. And I know I'm the LSU football guy, but hear me out. Yesterday's game versus Utah was an abomination of the game of basketball by the referees. Okay. I think refereeing in college basketball is so bad. And I know I've brought this up plenty of times, and I know we moan about college football referees. College basketball referees are still the worst. And I do feel the women's refereeing. I had a bunch of issues with how the game was officiated versus Michigan, where I actually think a lot of calls went in favor of LSU. That was BS, and it should have gone in favor of Michigan, right? But let me ask you this, okay? If I were to ask you who are LSU's 3 best players on the team, okay, it would be Alexis Morris, Flaw J. Johnson, number 4, and Angel Reese. Number 55, her name slips my mind, is a really fun player to watch. I just love watching her play. She's got the outside shot. She plays with some imagination. She's got great vision. Okay. 3 of your 4 best players fouled out yesterday. Okay. Now tell me this. Do you think in the most important game of the season that they would, in that spot, commit more fouls than normal? Okay. And Sherry, can you tell me who number 55 is? I love her. She's got the hair and the outside jumper. She fouls out. Okay. Piss me off. I've had it up to here. And I think the men's game is officiated poorly. The women's game, I think, is worse. I really do think it's worse. And I know I've only watched these last 2 games. I watched the Ole Miss game. I watched South Carolina game. South Carolina just beat us down. I thought the Ole Miss game was refereed okay. So, to be fair, Poole. Okay. Poole. Thank you. All right. So, that was horrible. That was horrible. Okay. Absolutely horrid what I watched yesterday. Okay. Referees assume that fouls are happening when one player just contacts the other. That is not how it should work. It is not how it should work. These players don't want the games to be officiated that way. Stop this madness. Okay. But yeah, there are some things, outside the refereeing. I know they're easy targets, but they were really bad yesterday. But there are some things that you and honestly, the best player for LSU yesterday was LaDasia Williams, right? So, LSU's got a really good, talented group of 5. Number 5 coming off the bench is a really good player for them as well. But I do worry about the Miami game tomorrow. I really do. Number 1, they played earlier than us, so they have that little bit of a rest advantage, but not much. Number 2, there are some interesting aspects of this matchup. I do think though Angel Reese will wreck shop, and I do think LSU is going to win tomorrow. D Payne, what's up? We talked Charlie Partridge a little bit earlier. Bo Davis. Bo Davis's name gets brought up for every LSU defensive line coach opening. I don't know. No, you're good, D Payne. That's fine. Day was awesome yesterday. I love it. By the way, Sherry Berry is the PHL LSU women's basketball expert. Miami is a basketball school. You better believe it. And I Chance, you have been in every live stream from start to finish lately. I really appreciate that. Skipper, I called you out not too long ago. I was like, where is Skipper today? All right, guys. We're going to sign off here. I really appreciate you guys joining in on a Saturday afternoon. I know it's busy. But yes, we will have a breakdown that will be released later on this evening from practice. Okay. And I'll share some thoughts on that. Okay. But we continue. All right. For Jordan, he's listing his top 5 players. As always, if you super chat, we'll keep this party moving. Okay. Top 5 for football: Jaden, Harold, Josh, Emery, Will Campbell. Okay. So whenever I do a top 5 list of like top 5 players on any team, I always take the quarterback out just because it's just too hard, because you then factor in value and who's better than who and all of that. So I'll take Jaden out of my top 5 for here, but I'm fine if you put him in yours. It's fine. Harold, yes, definitely. Will Campbell, absolutely yes. Emory Jones for me, yes. I think Emory would be in my top 5. I would replace Josh with Malik. And I would take Jaden out for Wingo at this point. Now, there are some other players that have strong cases. Greg Brooks has a case. Mason Smith has a case. Omar Spates next year. Once again, we're projecting here. He has a case. If things go well, Brian Thomas Jr. has a case. And then, of course, Josh Williams. Now, outside of that, I really do think it's up in the air. All right. I also think there is one guy that y'all are missing here that I feel deserves a little bit more love. PHL legend Slade Roy deserves some love. I love it. Yeah, Mason Smith is definitely deserving. Mason is better at his position than Jaden is at his. Yeah, I think I think that's true at their peaks, but as you know, Branson, and I've heard you make this point before, your best ability is availability, and we need to see if Mason can stay healthy for a full season. And I think one thing we tend to forget is he was hurt at the end of his freshman year as well. So we'll see. Okay. That is a good top 5. We'll hang out for a little bit longer. Let's see. Trey Morgan with the bases loaded. 94 miles per hour. Gage Wood from Batesville, Arkansas. Throwing 94. Mason Taylor. Next year, we'll have Shelton Sampson in your top 5. Trey Morgan is such an aesthetic, man. He's got the chain, he's got the hair, he's got the Allen Iverson arm sleeve, the eye black. I love it. Oh, now I love this. This is a juicy super chat. Oh man, it's juicy. Oh boy. Woo. And that I love a good juicy super chat, man. Bruce just out of nowhere. So Bruce is one of the sharpest PHLers, man. He knows his stuff. He keeps up with the recruiting. Okay. All right. So let's talk this. Okay. Larry Johnson is viewed as the absolute best defensive line coach in college football. If you were to go poll the NFL and the coaches community, they would probably put Larry Johnson number 1 on the list. Okay. And look, the NFL draft, speaks volumes, right? He has 3 top 10 picks in the past 5 years with Chase Young and the Bosa brothers. So, yeah, I mean, Larry Johnson is very well respected, and that would be one of the few names that would be, better than Jamar Kane was at LSU. Okay. So yeah, that would be crazy. And Larry Johnson gets 5 stars every year, right? Jack Sawyer, I'd have to go look up some of these other names, but he's got a lot. Okay. Go pay him $2.5 million a year, which would give him more money than what Matt House makes, and make him co-defensive coordinator. He is the best, and show him the love. Now, number 1, that is steep for a defensive line coach. And Matt House would still call the plays per se. So obviously, if you were to go get him, you would make him the defensive line coach and at the very least run game coordinator. Now, would he leave Ohio State where he is making a comfortable amount of money to come to LSU and, restart a new legacy and recruit all the guys, from the Big Ten to the SEC? I think it's doable, but at the same time, it would take that type of money. And also, Bruce, the money talks. I know there's a big discussion going on in the chat right now about, who gets what amount of money and all of that. What I would say about the money aspect of this, okay, is, well, I don't want to speak on behalf of other coaches, but if he got that deal, and let's just say this happened, there would be a lot of jealousy in the current LSU coaching room, right? Uh, not necessarily against him, but just him saying, "Hey, I want this amount of money." Okay. Oh, LSU 10 run them 1.3 million now. Let's see here. Yeah. It doesn't matter which business it is. Everybody wants to make more money. They just do. Everybody. Okay. What was I going to pull out here? Let's see. Where did I put that thing? Oh, here you go. So I gave one of these out recently, and I have another Malik Neighbors autograph card. I kind of want to give it out now. Okay. Let's see here. Now, we'll do it again. I had someone get some merch recently. You'll get this if you get 2 pieces of PHL merch or you join the PHL Patreon. Okay. Let's see who's I think H Town Creole. You've been in all our live streams lately. Time for you to join the PHL merch club, baby, and you'll get a Malik Neighbors autograph card. There you go. Can't beat it. I've given out so much, and I have so much more to give out on April 22nd. But just until then, I love building it, man. There you go. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. If you have joined the PHL Patreon, I don't know why you wouldn't. Patreon.com/LSU football. So do they play a double header now, or is it just that's that? Do they play a Sunday game? Are playing a double header? Oh, let's go. Oh, that's so cool. Trey Morgan signing all those autographs. So why aren't they playing a Sunday game tomorrow? Is it because of the weather? I got Ben McDonald on the call. That guy was kind of good, wasn't he? Oh, so they have a 2-hour break? I'll just play the second game now. That's crazy. A 2-hour break. Now, South Carolina won women's basketball. What else is new? LSU women play tomorrow at 6. So we'll go live after that game tomorrow. I'm nervous. Yeah, the second game tonight is at 6:30. So there you go. All right, guys. We'll talk to you tonight. We got another video dropping tonight, okay? It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! And tonight, I have no idea what we're doing tonight. We did chicken enchiladas last night. I kind of want some lemon pepper chicken wings. Let's go.